going on? See, second Saturday, my bootleg consistency. Give me 2 seconds to like spawn. Yeah, so um like 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And yeah, so it's good. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Hope New Year's is everybody New Year's starting off right, you know. So obviously try to like do a follow up from last show, last couple of lives to now, and just kind of recap everything, and at the same time, uh, just wish everybody a happy New Year and probably what to expect, or not, just wrap it up real quick because that's the vibe right now. I got like uh, made a post last time, and what's the 2020 in 2 minutes, and got like 2 views and shit. It's like on the trains, but neither here nor there. But yeah, so probably should start it off with "I Told You So." As far as with the Nashville thing, "I told you so" to anybody who didn't believe and might check this video or check the other video and stumble on this video later on. I told you so. As far as everything that happened in 2020 and the song "Full Metal Jacket" that I put out, when I put it out, I was told, "Oh, you're saying Illuminati and you're saying this," and boom bap rappers was like, or boom bap fans was like, "Man, you shouldn't do that and this and that," and was acting like it was too much or whatever, and knowing it's the one of the best songs that it, that's a part of the hip hop cloth. But I told you so. I mean, this whole show should be that, but it's really 2021. Don't try to outdo 2020. Don't try to like, because you see how they started off the year with the Portland thing and the crash in the major Deegan and all of this, possible vax mandate and all that. Don't try to outdo 2021. Don't try to do something that's going to make it like um like, oh, could we get, shoot more people, could we get more live, could we nigga, you ain't, don't even try it. Like, just anybody that um well, I know that it's not the people. I know that it's that it's you know these paid agent provocateurs. That's like, at by now most people know, or should know, and if not, that's what it is, and you can look it up and find out yourself. um See what's going on since Joe Biden. Is it going to promise anything to black folks? How are we going to turn this around and receive tangibles? Wow, okay, that's a good one. So um first, the gamble of the whole, is Joe Biden going to go in? Is he going to get it? With the media on his side, that's a valid conversation, but he should have never been in the conversation. He should have never been. He should have never even got this close. You got what I'm saying? He should have never even been able to been taken serious by black people. Like, you know, every sign was there, every warning was there, not to take that that bozo serious. He's a fucking clown. He's a bozo. He's like he's the guy that you say, yo, that guy's a snake, and then somebody tries to do a deal with him, and they get snaked, and then they say, oh, and it's like a bunch of people in the community that find out that same thing. So, um, but that being said, if they push forward with it, it's really going to be on black people to be a lot more organized. My campaign of the killing got to stop. The children are sharing it, more than the adults. The adults are anti. They think it's a joke, and they enjoy They enjoy the news and just they don't care. Like a lot of adults don't care about the children. So that's what puts us in a sort of bind, because the children are like, they get it now. They like, yo, the killing got to stop. They would it. And then you got people from older generations, other generations, and even so-called religious people that are like looking at it like, oh, if these guys don't believe in Jesus, then the killing would never stop. And my thing is like, so you're saying Jesus would stay silent? You saying Jesus would say, keep killing each other? Or would Jesus say the killing got to stop? Or would he, make a campaign for that? So when it comes to what can we do and how we could get tangibles, it's still, you really got to focus on making sure we all squared away, because we, we should have been presented the reparations conversation, and now is the best time to present it. Um, you know, uh, with this whole, you see the trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that they keep rolling out back to back to back to back to back to back, right? And giving the people crumbs off of that. First of all, again, that's the black people money. Now, the only tangible that I would say should be the reality for Black people is beginning to have that conversation, which would establish, oh, okay, we'll do like a platinum program. They'll try to duplicate the Trump program and build up a couple of people businesses or something like that or whatever, just to counter the reparations conversation. And at the same time, that would counter some of the funding that would go to some of the programs that would say vaccinate Black people. So I would say, you start as high as possible, and the only highest thing that can hit the ringer is reparations, and every conversation falls in between it, no matter how peaceful, no matter how outrageous or it might come across. But I would say personally, that's the best way to approach um, 2020 and beyond, just to slow them up with because you see they trying to build up a war with China, they trying to build up anger between Russia, China, all the usual suspects. And at the same time, it's trying to slide in this whole vaccine thing, just trying to relive 1919 or 1920. It's trying to relive that thing. So I would say, like, um, same thing happened, during 9/11. Like, right as, I believe there was enough signatures that came across and everything, the 9/11 wound up happening, whereas like every community leader at that time finally came together and organized. And it was a lot of great community leaders at that time, especially in 2001, that were alive, and elders and etc. And they even got the African burial ground squared away. So they was focused, a lot more focused than the so-called woke people are now. And it was focused enough to get the African burial ground in New York squared away, and started the conversation for reparations before. And then magically 9/11 happens, as they find out trillions of dollars was stolen by the Pentagon. But yeah, Black folks would have had a better chance receiving reparations if we withheld our vote. But the Democrat bootlicking went out of their way to put pressure on Joe Biden elected. You kicking facts. You basically, that's, you're kicking facts. You already know. That's 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 just, it's common knowledge at this point. It's like common knowledge that um uh the campaign was anybody but Trump, right? And there's a lot of smart people that echo that conversation. The fuck Donald Trump thing, in the hip hop community, that's what they campaign. Um, and in the bootleg, black political, I'm woke and I'm smart. It was anybody but Trump, and those people had no grasp on history. To me, you got what I'm saying? Because like you would know better than say something like that. Because if you say, oh, anybody but Trump, and then you wind up with a guy like Biden, who um he has everybody interest at hand but yours. He got he's not, you know, he's not the best person for America. The Pentagon still don't trust him, because he's compromised. He's compromised so much so that they won't even give him the information for, even if they was trying to do a transition. So, like, the military is, the military is pretty informed on what's going on. So there might be a lot of people disappointed if he doesn't, become president. And that little Portland uprising might have been a sign of that. Like, yo, this is what we do if you don't give us, let our guy in. But yo, listen, if they go on, try to play that game, and even, when it comes to that whole little, bootleg Portland New Year's riot or whatever, um, hindsight is 2020 for all of that stuff. For those conversations, hindsight is 2020, because what you wind up doing is you look at Philly. That's been in the news lately with, body count rising and all of that, right? And you look at how, I don't know if people remember, what was the name of that group in Philly that got Rise. The group name might have been a Rise. It might have been something like that. It was something really simple, but I think it was Rise. Um, and that's what triggered the neighborhood getting bombed. But before the neighborhood got bombed, right? You got this group that was like a spinoff of, civil rights and black, you know, people that was, just fighting for, we just want to be left alone out of the system. This was a big thing, right? So this group randomly, they in a black neighborhood, and so happens, I don't know how they did it, but they wound up in a upper class black neighborhood, and they was doing their own rebellious type of thing. So they're in this neighborhood, and they off the grid. You know what I'm saying? Like, they walking around barefoot in the streets, and goats and cows and all type, not cows, but goats and all type of stuff in the yard, in their little section of their building. They got megaphone, and the black people that's going to work every day and all of that is like, oh, that's cool, but not in my neighborhood, right? So these black people, come together, and they're like, we're gonna get rid of those niggers out of our, this is black people saying that, they're gonna get rid of those characters out of our neighborhood. So those black people go to the police, make an agreement with the police to help get those people out of the neighborhood. Now, what does this have to do with the Portland, thing, right? Because the president, the community, and everybody in Portland is like, yo, those guys, those Antifa characters keep popping up, you need to handle them. So now this is what happened in Philly, right? When it's black people, it's not just Philly, but it's just other places. But this Philly conversation is probably like the best one, right? So in Philly, with that group, the police go in and they say, hey, you got, they cleared all the other black people, told them to, get out the block while we go handle these guys in the block. They go inside the block, they shoot smoke bombs in there, they shoot at them with actual guns and actual pistols. They have a shootout with these characters who are not shooting back. They're not shooting back. There's no guns. These other guys are not having guns. So they shooting at them, busting them, and they finally pull a couple of people out of this building, out of this house, and they stomping them in the head, kicking them, stomping the lights out of them, right? These same police officers, right? They go on TV. The mayor, everybody's cool with it. Everybody's like celebrating it. And the block is still locked off. And the union, the police union, the Fraternal Order of Police at that time, who's been, you know, uh, key with a lot of the nonsense that's been going on, because a lot of people think some of the things that be going on be the police, when it's the spinoff Fraternal Order of Police. Is these guys who are, fraternity police. Like, they used to be police officers, or retired police officers that join this club, and they're fraternal police. So they have their own little club, and then when they do these little things, and then they jump in front, and people are like, oh, it's the police, and then it's, but because they basically wear the same costume. So what wind up happening is they shoot them, brutally violent, and kill and maim and lock these other guys up, right? This is when it's black people. Now you got these same characters that keep popping up in friggin' Portland and different places or whatever, and it's like a comic show. It's like they're shooting at him with rubber bullets and don't want to be too touchy fit. It's like, oh, and it's like what? When have all of a sudden the police are the friendliest people on the planet? It's like if that was black people stealing ATMs and busting up glasses and all of that, everybody over there probably would. It would be a different outcome. This is just a hypothetical. This is just a theory. I'm thinking like, but that's why with anything that's happening, from this year on, from today on, or whatever, don't fucking feed into none of that shit. Like, don't add into it. Don't even like. I'm not feeding into none of that stuff because, as they trying to create these same distractions, we already lived through 2020, right? And if anybody, I've seen some of these guys with their wrap ups, and a lot of my peers are out of touch. A lot of my peers are compromised. You got what I'm saying? Like they're just, and I listened to these 2020 thing. I'm like, what the fuck? What 2020 was you? You know what I'm saying? Like, um, let me see what the comments are. What's going on? Move was the group. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was the Move bombing. Yeah. Um, Move was the name of the group. Jason Black referenced it in the documentary about a Move bombing. It was a black mayor authorized the bombing and Move. Right. So you see, and you see how that story. We know that story. So how Move was treated, and they moved up to Rochester, and then they came and got him from Rochester. It was it that now what was done in Philly. The corruption of Philly was never fixed. It was never it was never really justified. And when they went to interview the fraternal police, he was like, "Ah, I broke his neck." He inflamed the conversation even more, and was unapologetic about it completely. So when I see these rubber bullet, like what they're doing, first, nobody believes that anything should be left in those areas, because what happened in Portland already. But when you see like, okay, they just stole an entire ATM. Like that's not just regular. Like if you going out and doing a little, whatever is New Year's thing, you got to steal an ATM, to steal just the section where the money is. First, you got to be really well organized to know that how to do it and the timing, etc. These guys stole an entire ATM, just the money section, cleanly done. Meaning that's how either they're getting paid, or that's or it's all staged, right? So everything that's happening now is what I call, it's known as theater. So I opposed to feeding into any of those things anymore. I'm like, okay, now's the time to bring out that conversation. Now, what they're gonna do, nigga, we seen the turn up. We already seen the major turn up. The turn up has been as turned up as possible. So either they turn down and chill and they relax with this whole, you know, mandatory vaxxers on the table. Nigga, stop. You know what I'm saying? Like some people actually, are volunteering for it. That's on them, but they was like, oh, the goal was supposed to be a couple of million. Now they like, oh, they want the goal to be 20 million people vaccinated. Like this is like the beginning of a fucking zombie movie. Like, no thank you. Like, we know how that shit, turned out again for Tuskegee and what we said last time. It was with the smallpox, with the Trail of Tears and all that other good stuff, like all that bad stuff. So there's no trust, in the black community or any community at this point. So I personally think, learning from the black story is what black people should know, should pull from, and should have pulled from to even avoid Biden even being in the conversation. Now Trump's most recent conversation, he was like, "Yeah, and we're gonna have enough vax for everybody," and I'm like, "That wasn't. That's not what I was. I ain't pressed like on that. Like I don't like that. Like I don't like you got the economy going. bravo. As soon as you start saying vax for everybody, nigga, see, nope. It's like nope, nope, and it's like, so that's why I was like, you know, the conversation, for whatever group and whatever community or whatever, it's like, man, you see they got the bread because it's all digital. Money is fake as fuck. Like the Federal Reserve was like, nigga, whatever y'all need, right? I got money out there. Like they basically said, we got as much money as these guys. Whatever you need, we got. They said it's an endless supply because the money's fake. Most people said, okay, the rollout of the digital currency is already here. They said, okay, the stimulus checks is passed. Did you get cash or did they just type a couple of numbers and all of a sudden there's money in your bank account? Because it's all bullshit. Like it's all fake. So, we embrace it as, okay, it's the dollar. So, we all playing along with the fantasy or whatever, but like, don't front on us because it's our turn. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody got their bread. And I seen, there was people who was like, nah, we don't need the money. Fuck that. We could get money on it because these guys are like stealing on the streets and selling drugs and doing illegal activity. And they go, and then you got people who follow these characters who's like agreeing with them just because it was like the whole, fuck Trump and anybody but Trump conversation. And they thought the shit was funny. Like, yeah, we took the money in that. Now, when they cut the money in half and people walking around looking like fucking clowns. See, might be young people watching. I'm just going nuts. Let me see what's good. I hope the government does not manage through unemployment, uh, working from home is right. So yeah, it's enough people that that they're actually that's volunteering, and and some people still don't get it. Like, I see some people like they would share the information like, yo, these people are waiting online for the vaccine, and I'm thinking like it's fake, and maybe it's, they waiting for sneakers or they waiting for something else, and but I'm not doubting that they're waiting for the vaccine, but. And I'm like, nah, people ain't that stupid. And, people comment back and saying like, yes, they are. And I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But it's a lot of people that will still, that like, because again, the big brains, did it. Like the doctors and nurses that didn't have to do it. All that shit is voluntarily. Like they don't have to do it. They get extra money if they do it. So there's nurses volunteering because they want the extra money. There's doctors doing it because they want the extra money. It's not like, okay, if you don't do this, you can't practice being a doctor no more. You can't do that. Like that's not what it is. They're volunteering because they want the extra bread. Some people are promised, again, up to $700. Some people are promised up to $2,000. And that's more than what they're giving with this stupid ass stimulus check. You know what I'm saying? Like now people understand, like, they just give the entire world. They gave the entire world reparations, right? Canada, UK, China, Australia, the entire world got reparations, got our reparations. The entire world owes us, right? They give the money to everybody, and you see it's funneled through the U.S. government. They're giving it to Pakistan. They're giving it. You've seen the bill. You've seen, like, if not, it's up. It's up on one of the things. Just pause the fucking video and watch read who they're giving it to, right? So you see they giving this shit to everybody, and the total was damn near about $30 trillion already. I give or take, because again, initially at the top of the year, top of 2019, no, top of 2020, they stole $11 trillion. They took that off the rep, like off the rip. They took 11 trillion. They said, yo, it's no sweat. We had the, because Trump had the economy up. He had the economy going. He had the one of the largest American economies without slavery. So you got to applaud him for that. But some people really fell for the propaganda and still are falling for the propaganda. Now, I'm not a Trump train guy. I'm not anything he does is is the best. And oh my God, the Republicans are going to save us, which a lot of people fell for the shit. And I'm like, don't fall for that shit. Fucking Ronald Reagan was a Republican. Wasn't Nixon and all those fucking characters that fucked up the black community were Republicans. So I'm not, I don't fall for none of that. Just because Trump is a Republican, the rest of these guys are good guys. I'm like, nobody, who's saying this? And I just vote all red just because Trump. And it's like, you fall for the stupidest shit all the time. You don't want to listen to me. So you listen to these guys who's like, yeah, this is how we do it. And they lead you into the stupid shit. And then later on you realize, oh, I was wrong. That was you. You was right about it. I'm like, you don't like, if you're in a state, you got to know who you're dealing with. So my thing is, I applaud the fact that more people are paying attention to politics. You got to applaud it, because I honestly was like, how are they going to get people to pay attention to what's going on? Like basketball, football, it's so many movies, it's so many major distractions that take up a lot of people's time and energy, and that people invest in ignoring what's going on. That I was like, I don't know, and they did this. So it was a unnecessary, necessary evil, because the ratchetness and all that shit was on 1,000. Like like the I seen like the children was bugging the fuck out. Like they was wilding. The children was going crazy, and most of the adults were cheering it on. Like, major celebrities sharing it just to get clicks. And still to this day they still doing it. Like, that's why I applaud the fact that the children are. If you go to Mr. Royale at Mr. Royale on Instagram, and you see that they got, I got like a few followers, a little 900 now on that channel, right? And maybe 10 people are active consistently, right? And those videos, that video in particular, the last killing gotta stop video that I post, that shit is like 9,000. Not because people that follow me, because the idiots that, excuse me, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to discipline myself so I can actually, you know, you know, I'm talking, I'm just, just me, not idiots, just the wonderful people that see the post and should be sharing it. When I see them sharing the silliest things, and again, I'm not crying about that, because if I really wanted to share it, I promote it, and through the gram or whatever. But anyway, the children, there's a new thing on the app where you can see who shared it, right? So I go and I see, I'm like, oh wow, what's this? So I click it, and it's like a page and page after page and I'm like going to the pages to try to see who shared it. It's all like a bunch of young people, like, yo, and they like, yo, put the guns down, shit, fist fight if you got it. They saying all type of things, but they sharing the thing. They sharing the fact that they sharing the message. Where guys from my generation, they still think they still playing around with the children's lives, and they playing around with their own lives, and as far as with diet and everything else. But let me see what's going on. Nashville situation is the time continuing explosion. Time machine they were using failed twice. Ha! I've heard that there was a chance to receive reparations before the Democrats threw out Barack. Remember, was that true? Okay. And the 9/11 was a distraction. Yeah, that's what I was saying a little earlier with that. Okay, so the Nashville thing. See, now let me do the Nashville one first, because again, this whole thing is I told you so, right? Well, okay, 2021, all right. So first, now, there's guys, I do my little theories, my little, conversations, right? So check the first one, there's the second one, right? I think it was like really the second one where I started off the conversation, whether it was just me talking to myself. I just started off, this is what it is, this is what it's about, and guys are going to talk about everything else. Now, you're already in Shit's Creek, and these guys are going to take you out of Shit's Creek and put you in a fucking rabbit hole to go around this whole theoretical thing, and it's going to lead you to nowhere. So I said the point of the thing of that whole explosion was to distract the fact that there's this global rollout to poison and vaccinate, and you got nurses and doctors and people finally speaking out, and then all of a sudden there's a distraction, right? So now I said that distraction was purposely done to wash out the black woman, the black nurse, pleading to the people that okay, she didn't believe the conspiracy and she didn't believe or whatever, but you can feel. I posted it on this page. You can just check, and you can see her pleading. Don't be like me. Don't take the vaccine. They don't really care. I got a song. They don't really care. It's that like all of my music speaks to what's going on, right? So um, these guys had the whole Nashville theory, and I'm looking at their theories, and they talking about, nah, you know what it's about? It's the direct energy thing. I'm not saying that those things are not wrong, and I'm not saying it wasn't an explosion over there, and I'm not saying it wasn't a direct energy weapon used. I'm not saying that those things aren't true. I'm not saying, that that place wasn't doing ballots and the place in Rochester wasn't doing ballots and all of these. But I'm like, what I did say was those things are purposely done to distract you from the main thing. In court, what happens is this is what happens in court. You got this is what you come in to fight or what you're coming to get, and then all of a sudden they make these motions and distractions and these things that distract you from making your point, and then the judge makes a ruling, bang, because you never stuck to your point, is what you call standing on your square. They get you to knock you off your square. They try to get you off of doing what you making it to your goal. So as I'm like, yo, this is what it is. Now let's see. It's only 7 days later. I go on, go on to social media and go on this and that. Let me find out. Let me see, because I'm into all the conspiracy peoples and all that. Let me see what they talking about, and just like I thought, they talking about everything else. They done built a whole and look at this. They got video footage and infrared footage that the feds ain't even got, talking about shit that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on. Like I'm like, wow, these guys have, and they got hundreds of thousands of views already. I put it on the channel where I got like 10 views. When I'm up to 10 views now, it's like people share it on the other platform. They'll tag or whatever. I'm just under exaggerating. But the point is, I told you so. Like I said, this is what it is. Now you're trying to go to your guy and your girl or you're this or that, and these people who you would feel like they're got their shit together. You know what I'm saying? Like where I'm like, hey, my little platform, okay, I can do a lot better, but I ain't there yet. He's I'll figure this thing out and we'll get there. But that don't mean I'm wrong. That don't mean just because you don't like what I say that I'm wrong. Like if there was something wrong that I've said, 1,000 people in the community would have jumped out and jumped on it already. They would have said, yo, this nigga Royale been lying and this and chipping and stealing and this and that. Like people would have made video after video after video, because when they called me a coon for saying get reparations, I wasn't even a big Twitter fan. I was not a big social media guy. Like I didn't care about, like I barely was on YouTube, right? Except, for doing the things. And by the time I did figure out, Twitter and Instagram, I go on, I'm like, that video of them saying cool, because I said black people need to focus on reparations. That shit was everywhere. I was like, oh my God. I'm I, I just thought it was I thought it was like interesting. I'm like, this is interesting. Like because I still know, and I knew at that time, like, even if they sharing it, I'm just looking at their opinions of, you're laughing at me for saying black people should focus on reparations, but you think it's funny because this guy is calling me out at my name and quoting from the fucking Bible. Like, but that's not the solution. Like, just because I said, you can win in court, and and you got some of the guys that these people follow religiously, pun intended, whether they're not into religion or they just, great orators or whatever the case is, but they're like, nigga, they be wrong. I'm like, these guys are because if they was right, the shit that they said when I stepped out the way, I said, you know what? Y'all killed the character. I'm gonna just leave a couple of things here and let me get out the way because the community is backing you and everybody's going this way and this is what you guys are going to do. And I step out the way. Where's the change? Like, where's the big things that these guys was talking about? Whether it was that group, that group, that group, that group, that group. If I was the one that was wrong and I was the ones like, man, don't pay attention to him. Fuck is you talking about? And then there was the big joke. Where's the results from the rest of those guys? Not because not him individually who scammed you out of this and lied to you about this and I'm sorry about that and that none of that shit. Where's the fucking results for the community that they supposed to be serving? Right now, I understand in the community, talking for the community and doing this stuff takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of heart, courage, and you gotta be built for it after a while. You know what I'm saying? So thick-skinned and all of that, and it takes money, right? And so I'm not saying that guys are not supposed to get money or nothing like that, but I'm just saying, like, did any of the stuff that these guys said add up to anything for anybody other than themselves? Like, anything they said protected the community? Anything they said? Like, remember the whole, like, we don't need reparations, we could do a susu. Nigga, a susu? Like, these niggas owe us money. What are you talking about? A fucking susu? Like, like it was all type of stuff that was being said to move people away from anything but that. And these were the quote unquote big brains in the community. And here I am, just some rapper guy that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's still like, yo, you know what I'm saying? He's just a rapper or he's just a this. And I'm just, and the entire time I kept saying, I'm a musician, I'm an artist, I'm an advertiser, I'm an activist. I do this, for the people, but at the same time, I have the foresight to see what you don't see. That's the point. All your greatest, whether it's Emotep or this, whoever, whatever, whatever book, all that shit comes through art. It comes through the art of science and the science of art and music, etc. All of that shit winds up boiling down to an artist. You don't know you exist 1,000 years ago, 3,000, 1,000,000 years ago if you don't see the artwork. If you don't see the scribe and drew something on a clay pot or whatever. So me as an artist, I'm connected to that. So the messages that you don't see and you don't get it because Dr. whatever, whoever didn't write it, you ain't read it in the book or whatever. I'm like, well, I see that and I know what the artist is saying and I know what that means and I'm connecting the dots and let me tell you what this is. And the guys try to disqualify it because who are you? And I'm like, okay, hindsight is 2020. We can look back on that, or we can look back just 7 days ago when I said, okay, this is what it is. 7 days ago, was those guys right, or was I right about that? And it's not to toot my own horn. I'm just saying, like, yo, share the conversation. Tell a friend, so we can get this thing going. Because 2021, I'm trying to tell you, they're gonna attempt it. They're gonna attempt to outdo 2020. And I'm like, 2021, don't do it. Like, don't even go that route. Don't let dudes play around. Like, yo, we can be even more stupid. No, let's not go that route. Let me see what's going on. Distracted we are with the Yoda style. Yeah, 9/11. The 9/11 is 20. It's the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. So remember that also. Like the 20s that I do. You know, you can see it. Last time I wanted to show you the hats and all. I got a whole bunch of brand new nice stuff. See the 20s that I do, right? Like it's the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. Right? And what it was is Larry Silverstein wanted to do, he thought his project would be done by 2022. And so I just recently, I was like, damn, I'm like, it came to mind. So I looked up and to see if the project would be done by 2022, because I'm like, oh, this whole COVID thing, whatever, they trying to stretch it out to that time. And I look in the thing and they say his project that he thought was going to be finished by 2022 is not going to be finished until 2023, or, they're not really sure. Right. So it's kind of an open-ended thing. So meaning all of this stuff is going on so they can finish building their infrastructure where they can reintroduce everybody to the magnificent glory of the Port Authority, who's behind all of this stuff, right? That I said in the prediction that I didn't even want to put out because people wasn't paying attention. And I'm like, if I put this out and these guys too prematurely, and God forbid, but so I just kind of left it as, this part of the prediction. And even with the recent little video, I still left it out because I just need people to see that other people are hip to what these guys are doing, that it's them and it's him and it's him, and it's still Bill Gates and it's still Rockefeller and it's still, Cecil Rhodes. Like, it's still these same characters. And anytime you listen to these other guys talking, if they're not bringing up those names in a way of, that's the guys, we're focused on. Elon Musk is not out of the conversation because he's a part of the whole Cecil Rhodes thing. And they keep funding the same dirt bags. And then at the end of the day, what do you want to do? You want to put a chip in your head. You want to put a chip in your body. And China's not doing that. They doing the scans. I'm not saying what they doing is perfect with that. It's definitely not acceptable with the social credit score, and especially the way social media is. But anyway, let me check out what y'all talking about. I like what you said. Bless. I'm not sure which one, what part, but but I appreciate that. That's crazy. The priorities are completely wrong since they called you. Oh yeah. They called me a cool for the reparations. The priorities since then. Most of those guys turned out to try to do what I've done already. Like, the goals that I've accomplished, you can't take them back. Like I accomplished the stuff and then I talk about it. I don't, and I'm this and I'm going to do that. Like, I did it. Like, nigga said, I said we could win in court. I was in the process of winning, but I already knew that I won, but I just needed that, the last paperwork. And I was like, we could win in court. You are cool, niggas don't win in court. And I'm like, oh my God, what is the matter with these people? Like, pessimism is all the way through the roof. Optimism is not as sharp as we need it to be, because the pessimism is what was driving the entertainment factor of certain conversations, especially when I was talking about what I needed to talk about. And I'm like, why are you distracting the people from this? It's like, and people are still scarred to this day where they like don't want to, rock with me because of that conversation. Now, for me, keep their coward ass away from me anyway. Fuck it. I don't care. Like, but there's people that needed that help and you scared them away and you never actually, fix that part. This, the people should have fixed that. And again, hindsight is 2020. What did they do that, made the difference? If you're going to talk all of this and talk all of that, make a difference. When I spoke all of this stuff about the Rudy Eugene, I spoke it, I broke it down, counted it and made sure it countered what CNN was putting out before anybody was calling CNN fake news, before the president was calling CNN fake news, before the president was the president. And as I'm like going to bat against, the mainstream, and they knocking my channel because of all of that, right? When I did that and I sent it to the mother and she like, oh my God, this helped me out and this is what it is. And I appreciate that. I'm like, now I'm bringing this ability to the community. Let's win. And the guys say we're not into conspiracies. And I'm like, where are we at? And then when I'm looking at their videos and I'm watching the videos of them talking about Rudy Eugene and with this whole zombie thing that they trying to reenact right now, and they like, black people did eat people, and I'm like, nigga, they talking about shit that was purposely with the Caribs and the Caribbeans and all that. Like, it was purposely altered history to try to make us into something that we wasn't and something that they was actually doing. So I'm like, these are the same community people that people was gathering around, like, but I digress. I think that's the word for what I just was doing just now. I saw that video. Good thing you didn't be cooked. But listen, I don't like none of those conversations I took personal like that. Like, I didn't like, just even right now, it's not personal. It's not like sometimes I just be like, damn, like, because it's like when you could win and you like, nigga, like when I'm playing, I'm like, my team gonna win. Like if you on my team, we winning. Like I'm a quitter when it comes to losing. Like if you want to lose all the time, I'm a quit. Like nigga, I'm off your team. Like I don't like, oh, you a loser. I quit. And I do my own thing. So that's the only time I disappear. Like when I see losing things, like I grew up in the worst communities. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up in bad stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I seen loser shit. Like, and I'm like, oh, that's what losers do. So either you join it or you do the opposite. And I chose to do the opposite. So anytime I see stuff like that, it triggers like, ooh, you give people the warnings. Like I would warn my uncle, don't smoke cigarettes all the time. I would warn my pops, yo, get out of New York already. Nigga, you lived your life, go chill out. I would warn these people that I loved and they ignored it. You know what I'm saying? Till they was on their deathbeds. So I'm not thinking that the public would all of a sudden be, wiser than my father who knew 12 languages, 7 languages or whatever, and my uncle who was, these just brilliant men, you know what I'm saying? But at least, I would hope that people would know better or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I at least there's something where you got to give people an opportunity, where it's not on your karma, where if you had a chance, like if you get questioned and they say, okay, yeah, but how come you didn't tell that man that a car was coming? Or how come you didn't tell that person this and that? You know what I'm saying? So it kind of falls on you if you don't at least give the person a chance. So that's why I actually do these conversations, because honestly, I'd be like, nigga, 10 views, nigga. I can't do this. it's like it's a blow to my ego. You know what I'm saying? But and some people log on just to see, oh, this nigga got 10 views and they get out of here. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I gotta leave it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like, all right, let me just put it out there for the people, and they get to it when they get to it. It's like Netflix. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, yeah. Let me see what's going on. Yeah, that. Reparations. Black folks have to force the government hand to pay reparations. I understand why they said susu, because reparations is hard to obtain. You got to remember, the U.S. government is not going to pay it out. Have kindness at their heart. You have spoken the Georgia Dome footage, voter fraud. Okay, so hit you with the with the reparations thing. Is this, man? The same approach that they're using with the vaccines, where it's they're like estimating and possibility and maybe so and maybe mandate and this and that. Now that's what you're up against. Like if you slack on, they're not going to give it to us. Then they say, okay, nigga, they're going to eat your food. They don't care, nigga. They just ate our food for so many years in a row, right? This was the year they was like, okay, we're gonna give black people reparations. If we was focused, that money would have came to us. It would have been the same riots, it would have been the same chaos, it would have been the same, and it would have been, more bloodshed and more this and more that and more chaos, but we would have got our shit and the shit would have calmed down and people would have been like, fuck it though. We, you know what I'm saying? And would have shit would have calmed down and we would have made that accomplishment. But instead, you had a lot of people that are so-called community leaders that was anti-reparations. Ice Cube, I like, how when somebody do something wrong and they try to right a wrong, like that barbershop movie was a wrong. Like that movie targeted reparations in a way where it affected the black community. There's a video on the channel, Hollywood something is on the channel, but it shows like how people in real life echoed exactly what was in a movie, right? So it's almost like what we call predictive programming right now. So what wind up happening is, fast forward, he was like, yo, I'm trying to, present this to the president and come up with the platinum program, or I'll co-sign the platinum program for anybody who co-signs with me. So that was to possibly make up for the attack on reparations. Man, there's a bunch of other people that attacked on reparations, but I personally don't want to say their names. You know what I'm saying? Like, because people, it's well recorded. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's well recorded. And it's like, I told you so. When I said it then, and I would say it to their face, like, nigga, you fucking up. Like, you don't say that. Like, you're marking history. This is a part of history. So history just proves it proves the point of, or proves my point at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, that was not the right time to do it, because it was meant to line up with this. And we would have had our argument and been organized, but instead people chose a different route. Like, we wanted to go with the gangs and gonna be more turn up, and we're gonna be more lit, and we're gonna be more this, and and I'm like, what's his name? What's the federal, like, Hoover, the J. Edgar Hoover nigga would be proud of the sloppiness of of what has become of the community. Like, he would be proud of what these people were saying. Like, still with the disconnect with Africa and all of that other stuff. Like, and you said the Georgia Dome footage of voter fraud. The voter fraud, like, the president got as much as he need at this point. Like, all the voter fraud stuff, like any of the theorists, or anybody who got, something to say and etc. Like, like, I never in a million years thought I would be agreeing with Rudy Giuliani. Never thought I would be on the side of Rudy Giuliani. I'm from New York City. I was in New York City when Rudy Giuliani was the mayor, when Tupac was saying, fuck Giuliani. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. It's like the Tupac lyric is, I know the Tupac lyric in the joint, in the Valley of the King shit. Well, when he's saying fuck Giuliani, like, I'm from that. I never in a million years thought I would be agreeing with Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani, all the shit he's saying about Biden and voter fraud and all that is like, because Giuliani been in the mud with John Gotti and the rest of these guys, and what's homie who the nigga who told on everybody from Harlem? What's the nigga? Oh my God, Godfather of Harlem nigga, like, the nigga who told, like, he got a pardon from Giuliani just for telling, you know what I'm saying? So Giuliani's cut from the dirt of New York. And so whatever these guys are doing in Washington, he's already a part of it. Like, he already knows it back and forth. So that's why his poise is there. So he recognizes it. So they don't need my help, or these guys, like, they got that shit squared away. So, like, that's not a major part of my conversation. It's just for anybody who is, who feel like they might have made a mistake, like voting for Biden. I think they should join the Stop the Steal conversation, just so because everything is through the algorithm. Everything is like, the computer sees what you post. So when people was knocking the fact about the money, the AI, the algorithm sees people don't care about the money. That was the main conversation. It was joke after joke after, same with Bill Cosby. Like, it was joke after joke after joke after joke after joke. And then the computer comes with the statistics, and then you got some Bill Gates character and some other, bozo character talking about, well, the statistics says that the black people don't care, or the Americans don't care. They don't think that Bill Cosby should be free. So basically, give him to us, or with the stimulus check, dudes was campaigning against the stimulus, like, yo, keep your money, nigga, just get out of office. I'm like, whoa. I see white people with houses and jobs and, families. They saying, no, give us the stimulus check. But you got, young kings and queens in the street confused, talking about, we don't need that money. And it's like, if you don't stop, like, it's not funny. Like, it's not funny. Everybody's laughing at us, man. Stop. It's not funny. Like, I don't think none of that shit be cute or funny, or these niggas think they cool, and these niggas is stupid. Like, yo, don't be stupid. Like, it's not funny. Like, tell these guys, like, if that's your man saying that, or that's your homie, like, just say it to these guys. Like, I say it. Like, I'm not afraid to have the, like, if you know, to have the argument, you know what I'm saying? Like, or not the debate or the conversation or whatever. Like, it's uncomfortable, but I'll have it. Like, a lot of my friends don't want to have the conversation. Like, I love my friends and family, and a lot of them just wasn't agreeing with me, or maybe still don't. But I don't care because I know I'm right. I don't give a fuck about your emotions. I don't care about none of that shit. Like, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Like, people just want to argue to be right. They don't care about not being right. They just want to argue until they sound right. Like, I know, and it's like I've learned to just get out of it. Like, you know, just leave it. Like, you know what? Just let that. I'm just, you believe what you're gonna believe. I'm gonna leave it at that and let life prove it, because nowadays karma and the way things is moving, shit is moving fast. Like, if you don't believe it, I'll give you 2 seconds. That's why last video I said, watch this. Here's what it is. Here's the facts. That Nashville explosion was about this. Watch these guys and all these people that feel like, yo, we got it. We don't need that nigga talking about, because that's what it be. Because the prediction that I gave, like the homies used to always be like, yo, because I put out these videos with the conspiracies, and I would never be in my videos. I would just put the information out because I didn't want the bias of me being black stop somebody from getting the information that they would need. So I stayed out of most of my videos that people share, and I seen shared and copied and pasted and this and that or whatever. I stayed out of them because I knew it would move faster without me in it. Because, you know, maybe it's because I'm black, or I'm not dark enough, I'm not light enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm not short enough, I'm not fat enough, I'm not skinny enough. Whatever the case is, I wear hat, I wear shades, I wear this, whatever the case is, I stayed out of it. So by the time I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me change the paradigm, jump in some of these joints so people can know that it's me. You know, salute to my brother Bates for saying that. Yo, go just jump in front of the camera. I jump in front of it, so thank him for that. So I jump in front of the camera and I say, yo, this is what it is. This is what I see. This is what's going on. And fast forward to today, I share the shit, I share the thing. But the black people who see it, they see it, try to act like they try to ignore it, act like they don't see it. And they try to see, like, I don't want this nigga Rawyal blowing up. What? It's information to help your family, so you can stay out of the. So we could have avoided this whole thing if you would have paid attention to this. I said, don't fall for that. Yeah, but I don't want nobody to know that you said it, because I want to say it my way and this and that, or I want my guy to say it and your guy never says it, right? And then the white people who see it, the white people that seen it, they was like, but you ain't white, so they start sharing me shit from other people. I'm like, first, I wasn't asking you to comment in my private DM and tell me about this. I wasn't, but so my personal prediction sit there, and people were still sharing the other guy and this person. And I'm like, nigga, my first prediction was like when I was like 12, 13 years old, right? And I will post that on one of my things. And everything from that movement, when I said when I was fucking 12, 13, no morals. I said the world is going to come down to Rawyal and no morals. My name is Rawyal. The world is going to come down to those two. And what that meant when I did that, most of the adults around that time was like, nah, you got to stand for something. They just looking at me like, young boy, you don't know what you're talking about, whatever, right? But I'm like, just a quick analyst, analyzing the world just like that. It's like, nah, when I grow up, it's going to wind up falling down. It's going to boil down to this or that, or at the same time. And it's going to be that, where what paradigm you choose. And that's where we at in 2021. I got the picture, the album cover for Everything's a Hustle. Everything's Theater Hustle. The album cover is like one side of the world, or one side of the picture is like the Twin Towers. The other side is like the Freedom Tower with a bright sky. And a lot of people are still trying to pull from what's gone already. The 96 and 94, like, yo, we need to do that again. Like, nigga, like, I don't want to do that life again. I don't want to relive my youth. I don't want to do none of that stuff. Let's move on. Let's get smart. Let's, smarten up. Let's organize and stop being so goddamn selfish. Let me get back to the people. Let me see what's good. You got to remember, the government is not going to pay. Now, the government is not going to magic, like, because you see, even with the stimulus, white people getting it too, and they don't want to give it to the white people. But fuck that. I don't care. Like, don't even, like, that ain't no excuse. Like, niggas wasn't gonna give me my, like, like the child support shit they had me on was like $1,500 a month or some shit. Like, just the number was nuts. On top of the tax, on top of the back pay, on top of it, and then it just kept building up. And then the bank had, they wasn't letting me out of that shit just by me saying, please let me out. Like, they was not. I'm not saying I was fist fighting guards or police or court officers. I didn't do that. I didn't fight none of these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I stayed on it. Like, I was persistent. I was like, I gave a fuck about myself and my freedom. Now, I could have did like a lot of people do. I could have ran. I could have went to another state and just been like maybe it's not happening. And then I wouldn't be able to, get a passport. I said, you know what? I'm gonna weather the storm. So the lockdown and all the BS that everybody else is going through now, I already went through it. I already went through losing everything. I already went through homeless. I already went through all of these things. I already went through it. But at least I cleared my name. It's like, at least I cleared my name. So, I'm still getting my shit together. Don't get it too. I don't even want to pretend like I got it. If you, the computer's not even all the way up and running, but I'm saying, like, at least I don't owe $500,000 anymore. You understand what I'm saying? At least I'm not like, oh my God, is that the police? You know what I'm saying? Like, at least I'm not worried about, warrants and all of this other stuff. Shit was crazy, man. Like, it was crazy. And they wasn't trying to let it go. That freaking court, or that magistrate from that court, was not playing. She never lost a case. She had 200,000 cases and never lost. And she looked at me like, nigga, you just another lost case. And I personally was like, no, I'm not. Like, Mark Anthony, Nas, 50 Cent, nigga, the court was in Queens. All them niggas we was all in the same court. That shit is in with those magazines, those gossip magazine, People magazine. Like we had the same magistrate. Like, they all lost to the same magistrate. So, and they got the money, they got the time, they got the money, they got all of that. And when I read the what the magistrate was saying about them, she was laughing at them like, yeah, I did him dirty. Like, she was proud and boasting and like, yeah, I had him come all the way back from where he was to make it back to the court so I could tell him he lost and made him pay more money. You see Future and the rest of these characters, like, niggas got money, but they still losing. You know what I'm saying? Like, or, trying to lie. I don't want to play that game, man. Like, I'm not with all of that. Like, with all of that, like, I'm not good at that. Like, I'm not good at, well, I'll just be a loser and I'll just, man, listen, like, nigga, okay. So they're going to spend $3 trillion on vaccines, huh? So that means they got the money for reparations then. Oh, no, we ain't got the money. Oh, if you ain't got the money for that, so you ain't got the money for that. Yeah, but then we want to care about your health. Well, our health is tied to that motherfucking reparations. You know what I'm saying? Like, that health, that all that shit is like, nigga, stop. Nigga, like, stop. You don't understand. Like, this shit is global. Like, these guys are fucking you up. Like, they will fucking, it's not a joke. Like, now's not the time. Like, now is like, anybody who got a problem with me, I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hash up stupid shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because honestly, I never in a million years would have thought I would have ever had an enemy in my life. Because I'm the diplomatic cool guy. You know what I'm saying? So, but some people, choose to have whatever issue because of whatever problem, whatever the case is. And I honestly don't really care. But I would rather, whatever your problem with me is, like, nigga, put that shit aside because there's a greater cause. Like, white people who understand those vaccines are fucked up, you need to jump behind the cause. Like, anybody, Asian, white, whatever, you need to jump behind the cause. If you continue to ignore Black history, right, for the sake of it's the niggers, I want my guy to tell the story, and you're waiting for that guy to tell it right. He's never going to get the shit right, nigga. Like, he's never going to get it right. They, like, put it like this. Let me just, because this was online. I was like this. The Luxor the Temple of Luxor, that shit is dated at like, this is what they dated it like maybe 5,000 years old. This shit is older than that. It's like maybe 500,000 years old, maybe 5 million years old. It's really old, right? Really older than they even would even pretend to admit, because then they would have to have a whole nother conversation that they don't want to talk about, right? So the point is, it goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Why is the Temple of Luxor important? Because in the Temple of Luxor, it breaks down where you come from before you get here, the sperm, the breakdowns of the body, every element of the body is broken down in these huge hieroglyphs already. And then on top of that, detail after detail after detail. And then if you have a helicopter or a drone or something, you look up and you look down at the temple, and the temple is a body itself. Is an actual uh, 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 body with the left foot stepping forward, I believe, the left foot. So all the information and all the medical experiments and you didn't have to do none of that stuff. You didn't have to experiment on those people. You didn't have to hurt those people trying to figure out, what does this do? It says it right there. Read the instructions, dickhead. Like, why are you doing this stuff? So if you are waiting for the people who are ignoring history just for the sake of, you know, how we say the Columbus, the discovery of, I discovered what this does. Yeah, but look how many people you injured to do something. All you had to do was read the instructions. The instructions have been in our history for millennia, era, ages and ages and ages and ages. So I don't like, I would say, any problems with me, put it aside, organize, get it together. I know some of our young dudes, still out there wilding or whatever. And at the same time, you got agent provocateurs coming from this way, come from this way, keep your family out the way, keep your shit safe. You see they trying to, stir shit up, and they got, look at Wuhan having fun, and look at New York. It's like, okay. The police specifically said, stay out of stay out of Times Square. So, make New York, my New York, I would never, ever in a fucking million years, only if they fucking paid me now. I'm never wearing a fucking New York Yankee hat or a fucking Mets hat or a Giants hat. I don't fucking co-sign losing, whether it's a fake team or real team. Like, I don't co-sign none of that. Like, if I got my own New York's brand, like the way I got my own NY shit. Like, I'll represent New York, but I don't fucking represent losers. Like, I don't represent anybody that don't represent me. Now, if they pay me and they sponsor me, you might see me in some New York shit that's not mine. But anything other than that, you know, any state or any of that, like, if they don't represent your best interests. But anyway, yeah. What's the purpose of what they accomplished by vaccinating the population? Well, the purpose of vaccinating the population and what do they get from that is, you get to it's a bunch of stuff, because first you prove that you got a grip on society, like, we run this shit is one. For basically saying control. The second is obviously eliminating people, because people are dying, young, old. There's people that's actually dying from this shit. There's people that's being injured, so they're out the way. Um, because a lot of the people, the essential workers, are vital to your survival in a battle. So if I got you divided from the police in the community, right? I got you angry against the police. Now, God forbid, the military was to, try to, invade or whatever the case is. Your police would help defend you against that, right? That's what the police, that's a layer. right? So, but if I got you divided, then they wipe you out, then they come wipe them out. You know what I'm saying? So vaccines, if you're vaccinating the police and you're vaccinating your firemen and you're vaccinating your nurses and you're vaccinating your healthcare workers and your people, your food administrators and all of that. Nigga, that's like cutting off all your veins. You got what I'm saying? So um luckily, some of these unions and some of these people and these people are smart enough, like nurses and doctors are now starting to come to a point where it's like, like I see some of the California doctors and nurses and some, different places are like, yeah, I think we've seen enough to say I'm a pass, right? So I just seen something printed in the paper where it was like, yo, this mandatory thing is on the table. And it's like, that's why the only thing, like, yo, again, I might fuck with Trump and all of this other stuff, but like it's obvious, like them niggas is ragging him. Like they humbling him, but his pushback ain't pushback enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm on some, like I understand, you got your back against the wall and this and that, but if this guy's going to do that and this guy's going to do that, then me personally, like I'm not waiting for Judas. Like I'm like, if but that's always my thing. You like, yo, this is Judas. I'm like, oh, that's the guy that's going to betray me. I would expose him in front of everybody. And he was like, no, I won't. And it's like, nigga, get the fuck out of here. And break up the cross too. Like, I ain't putting Judas in power. You know what I'm saying? Like, quote unquote. I'm not, because it's a whole tribal thing, but I don't want to say it like that. I'm just saying, metaphorically speaking, the guy who betrays you, if these guys are betraying you, and he could keep putting all of them in power. He put this, that's his Supreme Court people that he put in there. He put those people in there. You know what I'm saying? And I knew something was wrong when she's talking and the last one he put in had the mask on her face. I'm like, nigga, like she's a justice. She's a court justice and nobody's around her and she got a fucking mask on her face. That's not a good sign. That's a sign of oppression. She's representing oppression. Like that was a telltale sign, like something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And then, the Mitch McConnell and all those guys and the rest of those Republicans that flipped on him, like it's like, nigga, you co-signed all of these guys blindly and thinking that they would, come back and support. And then you got all these different communities that just co-signed everybody blindly. And he's like, yo, I got all you guys elected. And they all just, and when he wanted to give the 2,000 and they gave the pushback, he didn't fight hard enough. Because if it was a deal for Israel or it was a deal for this person or that person, they would have got what the fuck they wanted. And obviously they still did. So when it comes to the people, don't fucking all of a sudden like, I don't want no problems. Nigga, fuck out of here. Nigga, keep fighting like you fighting for a foreign country. Don't fucking like, I tried, I got 600. No, it's because the conversations on the internet did not help the case, right? Now people are like doing the outcry and, okay, the next check, we'll give it to you. We'll give you the other 600 and this and that. And, because Mitch McConnell's home was vandalized. Nancy Pelosi's home was vandalized. And those those people, those congressmen, senators or whatever, they falling for the same shit. The same people that's paying them to say no because they're getting paid to say no. The same people that's paying them to say no is also paying the people to fuck they shit up so they could blame the people. So if you understand the Cecil Rhodes doctrine, it's like who teaches these guys class? Like if you don't understand that their goal has been capture the United States, the corporation, the United States. It's just paperwork, right? Capture that paperwork, and within that paperwork, if you capture that paperwork, then you can lay claim to its citizens, right? Now, the civilians of the country, America, that's where we come into bind. That's where America versus United States been happening because you've had all of these programs created by these agent provocateurs that infiltrate the United States that counter American civilians for year, program after program after program after program. You get a guy like Donald Trump who comes in who says, yo, these programs counter America. That's not smart because we lose. Everybody else wins, we lose. And when he said America first, you got people that was like, oh my God, he's the devil. And I'm like, oh my God. That's when I knew shit was fucked up. Shalom to you. Let's see. Shout out to Jeff C. That dude was an OG. Jeff C. Shout out to Jeff C. He was an OG. I don't know who Jeff C is, but well, maybe I do, maybe I don't. I'm not sure who that is, but shout out to your homie. Let's see. Have you spoken on what's the purpose and that? Shout out to the homie. Okay, you did that. Shalom. Okay, bread and circus definitely is bread and circus. Yes. It's all one left wing, right wing, same bird. But this is where I'm saying you got to stay on par, on the square of like from Queen Madam Moore, go back and go back and go back and go back. And no other program, platinum program is cool. You know what I'm saying? Like all that other stuff is cool. But as they talking about this is on the table, nigga, put this on the table. It's the Trump card. It's our better than Trump card. You know what I'm saying? Like the same way they swamp is the swamp and this and that. Like, man, listen, I'm telling you, the cooperation from every community have to come together because if you think like, oh, they just want to vaccinate the niggers, sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken because that's why you ran from England. We didn't just say, hey, guys, come here. Come, we're inviting you. No, niggas was running from those people. They was running from they monsters. And when the monsters got here and made problems for them, the other monsters came and took, you know what I'm saying, and laid claim to their shit. So, like, it's the, people got the vibe of 1776, but for us in particular, again, man, you got to pull up the document from the 1500s that say we should have never, like, there's a treaty that said you can't enslave black people in America. Like you can't enslave black people in America. There was a treaty written, right? So any 1619 should have never happened. It was illegal. That's why I'm like, who are these people having these conversations? Who are these people? Who are these people? Like, we need to put 1619 Spike Lee and the rest of these guys, and just because they're popular and people like co-signing and thinking shit is sweet. And I'm like, most of these people from our community are out of fucking touch. They're out of touch and they're compromised. So, they push, the wrong agenda. And I went to Harlem, back to Harlem a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, whatever. So I'm in Harlem. They have this huge poster, 1619. And I'm like, who green lighted this shit? Like, who green lighted 1619? As a big poster in Harlem. You know what 1619 represent? That represent the first captured African Americans. Why are you promoting that? Why are you promoting that? Why are you saying black people should promote captivity? Nah. You could promote reparations. If you could promote 1619, put slavery, put reparations right with that because that's their shit. If their shit is 1619, the New York Times, and put the black woman as the face card, and that bozo and that clown and that dickhead and that goofy motherfucker over there, whatever, like they are the face cards for the 1619, but it's the New York Times agenda. Who owns the New York Times? Figure that one out, right? So, but they're like, yo, black people need to tell this story of, so you don't count out, nigga. That's not where our story starts. Our story do not start with captivity, period, point blank. If you want to tell that story, go back to 100 years before that, right? 100 years before that, when the document was said, this should never happen. So what they did from that point on was illegal. So that is the conversation that you can continue to have, right? And if you don't want to have that conversation and you don't want to talk reparations, nigga, there is no future for you. Like when Dr. Claude said it, yo, it's a monopoly game. He was correct. And then, he went on, did his business venture, and, he was like, yo, I got jerked by these guys. And it's like, he's the math guy. He's the math genius. And he got slighted this way and that way. And they, got jammed up. He said it himself. He said he got jammed up. And he's the guy, like, I'm a musician. I said I'm the fucking greatest. And I say I'm this, I'm say I'm that. I don't just say it, I prove it. Like I say, you ain't fucking with me with this. I'm the greatest artist. I'm the greatest illustrator, the greatest musician. Like I prove it. Like I didn't say I was the best mathematician. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, like I got common sense. Like like common sense says, like when they pushing 1619, that's not a good thing. And they talking about the great reset, nigga. That's was 1619 was a reset. Reconstruction in the 1800s of changing, chattel slavery into prison and was Reconstruction era. Every time the reset happens, shit ain't good. So I'm saying to control the narrative. That's really the point. Being able to control the narrative. 2021. Don't try to be stupid. Don't try to be, I'm going to be just as silly, just as dumb, just as, don't do it. Like all the examples of stupid shit is done. 2020, 2021, it's more focus on, your prosperity, your health, your family, your well-being, but organization. If you want to rock with me, you want to build, you want to support, I'm with it. And I truly appreciate any and every bit of support that I get, in all honesty, like, because it's like these things be tough to do. They pull the energy to be like, let me just rock with the people. Let's see what's good. But yeah, let me try to show you some of the things I was doing on my own time, man. You know what I'm saying? See, I got my new hats, man. I got my new shit. See the new shit? Come on, man. That's fire. Then I got some more coming out. You see the Yankee flag? That's not Yankee flag. That would be. It's like Syracuse. That's like New York. That's all that. Like, come on. So these shits is fire. Of course, and it got the logo on the back still. Come on. But yeah, that's some of the. I got more. But yeah. Some of the things. And I want to do a contest for. I want to do a contest for this. I want to do a contest for this. Like, we need to do some type of contest, like for these. See, this is like extra, with the signature series. You know what I'm saying? That's the signature series and all that. But yeah, that's the stuff. Like when I'm, because all this stuff be on my mind, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to seem like what I'm saying. Like these guys hog up most of. I appreciate the fire sign. You already know. That's what I'm saying. That's why all this stuff is representing integrity. Like when you rock my stuff, when you rock my brand, it's integrity. Like I'm not just doing it just because it's just like I don't like nobody want to walk around wearing loser shit. Like I've never you gotta word it right, like because you learn, you learn, but the integrity from when I first was introduced to life is there. And again, if it wasn't, it would have been exposed a long time ago, just like everybody else. But you see the consistency, everything that I said from when anybody can go back, as far as my timeline from when I was first introduced to the music community, to the art community, to the hip hop community, the activism, et cetera, et cetera. Like everything, like the consistency is there. The integrity is there. Shit is iconic, legendary. All my friends are legends. It's like literally all of my peers are legends. So like you get something, I'm still hand doing a lot of stuff, like the shirts and hats. I'm still hand doing it, like it's still me touching it and all that. So that's just me telling the facts. Like I just I do it for me, and I just personally like when some people they say, "Yo, I like what you got," and I'd be like, "Okay, I'll try to make extra for the other people," but I personally I got them, and I don't be stressing people to get them because I'll wear them all myself. I'll be like, oh, this one is the white is dimming. I got another one. So I'll wear all of them. I care, but I don't care. But at the same time, I do like the people to know that it's available for you too. Like I don't want to. I'm not trying to be Ralph Lauren at this point, nothing like that. But it's there. My art and music is available. I put my art on my shirts and my hats, and I put my art on that. I put my heart in everything that I do. Again, I'm not hyper tech savvy and none of that. I don't want nobody to think like, oh, this guy's some tech genius because I get mad views over here and views over here and this over there. I got thousands and thousands of viewers on this platform, and then I get 23 views, or I got 50 views. It's like, and then I got no followers over here, but I get thousands and thousands of views over there. So it's like, man, with this, I'm not the tech guy like that. Like what I do know is I know how to create art. So I create art from the walls to the women's face. I create music and art on anything, like any medium. I'm an artist. I will create art. So putting art on the web and putting art on this and that, like that's just me. Just being able to cut through time and let my presence be known while I'm here. And so, when I'm, moved on and gone and all of that, you know, the what I stood for and what I stand for will still be here. Like the integrity of that will still be here. Honor and obligation. Yo, the hats is dope. My buy one, connect the dots. Yeah, with these events. Yeah. So, how do I connect the dots with that with those events? Music is solid. I bought your CD. Amazon need to do a collab with J. Cole on this level. Yeah, dope. Yeah. Yeah, I fuck with like. Listen, I would love to collab with some of these guys. I would love to collab with some of these guys because, in all honesty, like the Killing Gotta Stop was a record that he was supposed to get on, and the rest of these guys were supposed to get on, and their message was get it popping, like get more people to pay attention to the record. So I did that. Like I did my part, but they didn't do their part. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, there's still more to do. You know what I'm saying? Because, well, like say when Nipsey and God rest his dead, when Nipsey was murdered, I used the Killing Gotta Stop to tell that story, and that shit made it go viral. Like there was people sharing it all over the world, sharing that Killing Gotta Stop message. Right? Every incident, I made sure the Killing Gotta Stop message was out there just so they can see. Like, look, even to recently with the King Von and the comedian and this and that or whatever. So I've done my part to at least, because the Killing Gotta Stop is a record where it's not challenging. Like you don't gotta battle me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just do your joint, do your verse for the people. You know what I'm saying? Do mine. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be conscious. I'm supposed to be conscious. Like nigga, this is what something for the people that they could appreciate. And I'm just hoping, my brother Dame Grease would be like, yo, he did his part. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom, we ready? And I could hit up his people again and try to see if, I could, touch base and try to see, but I'm not begging none of these niggas. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll make somebody new. Like my crew is dope. Like my crew is dope already, and I'll keep, grinding and going through with what I got and like I'll promote the niggas and I'll promote the Indian and China and the rest of these characters. Like nigga, a click is a click is a click is a click. So I'm not really stressing these characters, but I would love the open invitation is there. I produce and write songs not just for me. I do it for other people. So if like whether you're a singer or a rapper or whatever, like that's the whole point. The point is to make that connection so we could all build and make progress. Like I'm not a selfish person when it comes to that. Like um but I'm not gonna cry if you don't take a beat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yo, I got this beat for you. All the beats that I'm on was for sale. Like all of those beats that I was on was for other artists. And they was like, thinking about it. Oh, don't worry about it, fam. I do it in a complete song, put it out. They say, how come you didn't play this for me? I was like, nigga, I did. But just connecting the dots with everything is is definitely is definitely important nowadays because a lot of people get lost with some of these other characters that will just like they just don't know what's going on. So that's why it's like you just have to know from the last time, all those other lives that I did as far as what the Vax era. Check that out. Watch the next one. Um, as far as with the Nashville thing, check that out. All the way to this one where I'm telling you, look at those. So now you can understand why I say I told you so. So when you see somebody else still trying to tell you about Nashville Explosion or try to move on, don't move on. That nurse from Nashville, her face was twisted. Like you don't move on for it. Like it's not trendy shit. Like killing and hurting people, that's not trendy. Okay, next person. Like that's not trendy stuff. Like that's conversations like explain yourself before you try to mandate or whatever, because that's a threat. Like that's a act of war. And I understand they do have this and they have this and they have that or whatever, but nigga, if you lay down like a doormat, nigga, like if you lay down, like they will not get off of you. Like they still on us now, and we've been able to, make a little headway with the Oprahs and the Michael Jordans and this guy and that guy and Jay-Z and this person and that person. Like we made of, Diddy's and the Russell Simmons, and then you see everybody along the way wind up having a little thing. But that's not enough people. That's not the entire community. And even if, guys, front and floss, and because we know how to make poverty look like, anything other than that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how hip hop was born. Hip hop and all of that was born through our, pain and trials and tribulations, and translating that into something that the world related to and continues to relate to at such a rate that it's still one of the highest grossing uh, um, uh, mediums and content in the world. And we don't own any of those platforms. So man, it's so many levels. But I just wanted to definitely get on and say Happy New Year to everybody. Salute everybody. We made it. We made it to 2021. You survived 2020. Again, that little clip that I put up, 2020 in 2 minutes. Like, look at that shit. Like, share that, man. Like, share that. Like, not just because it's me. Look at this shit in there. Look at the stuff that you survive. Like, look, like when you see these other guys talking, they not look at that video, the Epstein shit with the little girl torturing the little girl with the magnifying glass and that shit. Like, you don't skip that to talk about a bitch twerk. Excuse me. See, that's how I got to try to get control. You don't skip that to talk about some rapper girl or actress. Like, you don't skip stuff like that. Like, nigga, like that was a big thing. That whole child trafficking. They got movies on Netflix and this and Hulu and talk all these major that documentary. Like they got major stuff that's promoting child trafficking and all of that. And at the same time, you see it, in the mainstream. It's a mainstream conversation. Like, and I might have brought this up around hurricane time when the UN was in Haiti raping those people. When I put those pictures up, I'm like, I got the pictures still, and those pictures was available when the UN was raping and kidnapping children back then. And then you see even Cynthia McKinney when she came out and she was saying like, yo, y'all giving vaccination contracts to child traffickers and it's been a conversation. But 2021, anybody who was like they could front and act like shit is sweet and they ain't have to listen, they ain't gotta front, and they ain't gotta worry about real shit, like 2020 cracked through the front and shield. Because there's professional poker face, there's professional fronters, there's professional bullshit artists, and all of that shit is no longer in existence. 2020 beat the fuck out of everybody who thought shit was sweet. Like anybody who thought, if you understand what I'm talking about, and anybody thought you was crazy, right? Anybody who, because even to the wire, even to down to the wire with this whole Biden conversation, because there's still people holding on to that, right? And Okay. Like if you're a black person, I'm gonna just put this out there, like, because I understand, because white people might, they I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna, I can't, I like certain things, like certain things, I gotta be like, yo, I gotta address for black people. Like there's white people that can have the conversation and address white people so they can understand and they can relate how they can relate. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm not the best on that. I'm gonna just say I know my people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying any black people, after knowing everything else, and if you come across a black person that still believes in Biden, right? The next live, maybe, if you get enough of them, right? On the next live, like send them my way. Like, let's say we can have the conversation. Let them say whatever they believe in, whatever, right? Or send them one of the videos. That's already there. Now, like, you know, if they want to debate and they want to have the conversation, then get somebody to set it up. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I can set it up. I don't know. I'll get the StreamYard or one of those things where I can have the split screen or whatever, or multiple, on a Zoom conversation or whatever. We could do that. But I can't go on another day with black people without love them, or know you or don't know you, promoting that scumbag that promoted the crime bill. And before the crime bill, he was the one that was a part of the crack era. He promoted that shit. Now all these people running around, Ronald Reagan was the savior. No, he wasn't. He was an actor, right? He was an actor. He did have a couple of great speeches that I was blown away. I was like, wow, people maybe misunderstood Ronald Reagan, but no, like Ronald Reagan was a dirtbag. All of them was dirtbags, right? And they fucked up a lot of the community. Like the problems that you have today stem all the way from back then. Now, if you promoting the guy who locked up your father, your brother, your mother, your cousin, your sister, your this, your that, you're promoting the guy who would be considered a slave catcher. If you're promoting that guy as a black person, you're the problem. You look yourself in the mirror and maybe you don't love your life, go take the vaccine so the rest of us can say, okay, you got your 20 million. You know what I'm saying? Because that's your guy. Now, on the Trump side and all the other side and all the rest of that, like, my thing is, like, as he's pushing that, then we push this reparations thing, whether it's Trump or Biden or and a lot of, oh yeah. This is what I do kind of like want to wrap it up with. I'm sorry, I was just, anytime I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna close it out. A lot of black people think that if Biden becomes, if he's put in place, then we got Kamala and she's going to wind up being the president because she's going to, like, stop lying to yourself. That bitch don't care about you, your children, your family, your life. If you go back and look at any of her conversations, you'll see that first she think young people are stupid and have a problem. So there's no empathy for them. There's no empathy for black men. There's no empathy when it comes to Kamala Harris. There's no empathy for our people. So just because she's a woman and he has a whole woman staff, Susan Rice, Kamala Harris, all the rest of these characters are agents of different nations. They're agents from other nations, like for whether it's the Cecil Rhodes, Susan Rice, and the rest of those characters, but they are not on your side just because, like, they are basically cut from the cloth of the black woman that was representing the Tuskegee experiment. That black woman, to her dying day, she was like, so on it, the nigga said, the white doctors was like, we was wrong, shit was fucked up. Yes, we deserve whatever we get, shit was wrong. And they found her. And when they found her, she was like, so? They was like, yeah, but it was wrong, right? She was like, no, I was doing what I was supposed to do. And it's like, Jesus Christ. So it's like, that's the thing. Like, that is, I love the people, but just because I love you doesn't mean you're right. You know what I'm saying? Just because, you think, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, I care. You know what I'm saying? I care enough about our future, your children's future, my nieces, my nephews who told me to do my live. Is it like, as I'm like, I ain't gonna do it, forget it. And he's like, yo, do more videos. And I'm like, okay. It's like, so, which, give me the energy to talk to my people, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. They're not on our side, none of them. Nah, you already know none of them are on our side. None of them are not on our side lovable. Like, you already know that. Like, that's a fact. Like, but the thing is, business is business. That's the thing. Strategic business. That's why I say there's guys that I might not agree with everything they say, but we gotta find a middle ground. And with Trump, you can find a middle ground at times if you do it right. Like, you see, like, Theodore Roosevelt had Booker T. Booker T got something for us. Now, what they did to that afterwards, okay, which is the Tuskegee experiment. But as I was getting to the president, a black woman stopped me, literally. The president is there. Obama was right there in the other room. Just right there. She said, no. Everybody else let me through. All the security, everybody let me through. The black woman said no. They said, why? Everybody was like, why? It's like, she's like, no, just no. And it was like, wow. So that was that, right? Not an attack. And when my community, the rap community, seen that, what they did was everybody mission became getting to the president, right? Everybody, like, because when I said, yo, I got the governor's signature and I got this and I got, like, I was getting these signatures, right? And what wound up happening was everybody started becoming political, which, again, I don't mind encouraging people to do the right thing. That's not the problem. But then when they get to the Obamas and when they get to Trump, when our people get to Trump, what did Kanye ask him for? He's promoting a hydrogen plane to the president. Like, this nigga already got a plane. You get in front of the president and you asking him about a hydrogen plane. Nigga, what happened to reparations? You sitting in Cardi sitting in front of friggin' Biden and she talking about everything else except other than, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is, like, we hyped up a lot of the wrong people. So not we, like, I wasn't part of none of that shit, like hyping none of those fucking clowns. Like, I fuck with them. We could do business because whatever. But the thing is, when you get with these people, it's not playtime. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not your friends. Like, that's not like, I'll check you out. Like, Russell Simmons fucked up the $20 Harriet Tubman being on the $20 bill. That's not like I love Russell Simmons' work for the hip hop community. I was a big follower of everything brand wise. I learned earlier on from that, but his nonchalant and arrogance towards Trump earlier on, and his conversations and his just brushing off and making Harriet Tubman a joke with that video, ruined the fact that we could have had Harriet Tubman on the money today. Like that's not funny to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not funny to me. And it's like Trump admitted, he was like, yeah, nobody wanted it. And it's like, because the people that's around them are disconnected from reality. You know what I'm saying? Like the Ben Carsons and the rest of these, he picks these guys, but these are the guys who's like, yo, I'll still be your friend. And everybody like the Diddy and the rest of these guys who used to rock with him when he became the president, they all sided with Russ and was like, man, fuck that nigga. I was around him. He's a clown. You know what I'm saying? I can do it. And it's like, because, that's what it is. A lot of times people be around and they feel like it just seems so easy, not understanding, like, you make it look easy, easier than what it is. And so they didn't take him serious even when he became the president. So that's why even today, there's pushback. But when he wasn't the president, all of them was with him. Now, if they would have stayed with him, then we would have had a deal. We would have had but instead, you see the campaign, you see the videos of them campaigning for no deal, for no compromise, no nothing. So it's not that, I'm thinking like the left or the right or the middle or the up or the down is on our side. Like that's not the thing. It's just more like, I don't care who it is. Like, nigga, like we got to get ours. Like we got to get our shit together. Like, let's get our shit together, but still push forward for this, because Queen Mother Moore did it. This person did it. That person did it. We got there and they got to this point. And if they're going 9/11 again, oh man, they did. 2020 was a 9/11. That's why I'm like 2021. Like, nigga, they did a lot of they did a lot of crazy chaos. And a lot of people now, everybody's getting in predictions of what they could do next. And everybody knows everybody knows. Like, again, it took me a minute to not be pessimistic. It took me programming and, meditating and all type of thing to actually get to a point where I can speak to people without, attacking or pulling them down or whatever. So a lot of people don't go through that process of learning themselves to add to somebody's energy, opposed to pulling and vampiring and taking away. So me, I'm just more like, okay, we got to find that middle ground, that mutual conversation, because it's not like, it's not like we're asking for something that's not ours. Like, it's our shit. Like, documentary after documentary and scholar after scholar after scholar can prove after proof. But me, I'm like, okay, seen enough evidence, results time. That's me. That's just me. I'm more like, let's get to the results. Trump did bring a lot of things to light. Trump brought a lot of things to light that a lot of people maybe won't admit they appreciate, or a lot of people don't know they need to be appreciating, whether you like them or not. Like, I don't get emotionally wrapped up in these characters. You know what I'm saying? Like again, like, I would have never ever thought I would fuck with Giuliani. This nigga's like, I'm rooting for Giuliani. Like, Giuliani, conversation about Biden and the corruption and all, like, it's just, I'm rooting. I'm from you. I would never root for him, and I would, but it's not like, yo, that's the homie and this and that. I take these guys like, yo, now he's my friend and I trust anything he say. Like, no, you know better than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Trump was able to jump in the front where everybody else was scared, because this would have been Obama's term. Obama could have took another term. This would have been Obama's term. Now, there would have been a lot of turmoil, but the calm of black people would have maintained it enough. But he knew he could have took another term just off black people alone and the white people that fuck with him. So, but he was like, nah, because these guys already know what's coming. They already know what's happening. Like, George Bush said it when he left office, and that's a good way to tie into this being the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. Again, my stuff. That's the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. And George Bush said, compared to what's coming, I'm going to be revered as a president. Now, me, again, being a New Yorker, I was like, fucking possible. Like, impossible. But the agenda is always written years in advance. Like, a lot of people plan day to day or week to week and month to month. These guys plan generation to generation, century to century. So while people still trying to figure out if yesterday connects to today, I'm like, nigga, yes. Like, it was Monday that day, and it's going to be Monday again, and it's going to be Monday again, and they have an agenda, that ties all of that together. So it's to a point where it's like, as a community, to do that together, like, like, again, watch that 2020 in 2 minutes so you can understand what was going on a broader spectrum. You know what I'm saying? So you can understand, like, not just this rapper's perspective or that, like, the way I do it, so you can see the big picture, right? And then you can understand, like, okay, That's what, and then you already know. Now everybody basically knows what the next turn up, um, what the next turn up possibly could be, or the next moves that they can make. But what is happening with the vandalism of Pelosi's home and Mitch McConnell's home, like the vandalism of their homes was just showing them, like, nigga, we know where you live. But to me, I'm like this. I'm like, great message. Vandalizing homes. Like the name of my group is Mike Vandals. So listen, it's good. I can use all of that stuff for for other conversations, but it's just like, nigga, why did you wait till after they do the bill to leave a message like that? Nigga, I don't, like, hypothetically speaking, like, I don't want nobody to think like, oh, and he said he was going to do it. Like, no. But the people who did it, you know how Malcolm was like, the airplane went down and I'm not mad. I wish that Allah does more of shit like that. Like, whatever your God is, whatever, I'm applauding. Like, nigga, like, even if it was the bad guys that did it, you know what I'm saying? Even if it was Antifa, even if it was Black Lives Matter, whoever did that shit right there, but you should have did it earlier. Like, why you wait till afterwards? Like people like, that's only me. Like, that's me. Like that's me. Like, he said before the bill got to him, he said, whatever it is, I'm going to knock it down. I'm gonna block it or whatever. Now, I understand, but I don't understand how all of them make a vote, but his vote prevents all the rest of the votes. Like, I can read up on it, but I don't care to read into all of those things, because however he did it. And when Obama was the president, they was like, we're going to run into Mitch. And if you're going for reparations, because that was my whole thing, going for reparations during Obama's presidency. Now, Mitch McConnell was vocal about, he's like, it's going to make it to me. Like, if the black people continue to push, because I got the conversation viral. So Azalea Banks, it was pushback from other rappers and other people, but I didn't care because the conversation was out. Like, the attack on me, promoting reparations in the black community, the attack on me alone made the conversation viral. So that's the only reason I'm like, I eat that. Like, I'm not happy about it because it fucked with my brand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yo, y'all niggas fucked up my brand. Like, I bought niggas business and you shitted on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that as a man, as a regular guy, but as a, ego aside, I'm like, nigga, I did what I was supposed to do. Like, I got the conversation out. I made it a conversation that people even cared to be emotionally tied to say it out loud on major platforms. So I could remove myself, and then everybody else began, and this person come out, and the guy from California, and this person, and now it's the 80s thing, and this. I'm like, yo, nigga, y'all making all these fucking groups. What happened in Cobra? I'm not hearing none of them talking about it. That's the only reason I wasn't co-signing the 80s thing and American descendants of slaves. Nigga, like that. If you're a lawyer saying that, and maybe you might see this, and I'm not attacking him, and because anytime you do an attack, that shit gets shared. And I don't even want to come off like that, because we got enough problems as it is. So I don't want to, make a problem where dudes don't want to connect with me. You know what I'm saying? But I will say it to his face, just like I said it to Dr. Umar's face, just like I said it to Polite's face, just like I said it to Sinetta's face, and battling with these guys. Like, I say it to you just so you can understand that it's not like I'm whispering the conversation. Later on, okay, P shifted to, yeah, we should get reparations. He was against it first, and then he shifted. So, boom. I ain't got no problem. All right, cool. Because that was my only problem with him. Umar, he didn't shift back. He said, yeah, we could talk about it. And then he never talked about it. He never came back with me, and he went on, and he became Dr. Umar, this guy, whatever. And somebody else came, and they ran up on him. And he was like, nah, I ain't for it, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, whatever. But like, these guys were really vocal about being, about opposing it at that time. And again, it still helped the conversation grow to a point where this year, was it 2019 when everybody was like running or whatever, where I got footage of all the mainstream media where it was even in the debates and they talking about reparation in the debates. What's her name? The Gabby lady, like all of them was talking about reparations in the debates, and they was like, if y'all keep this up, this is going to be a real conversation. But prior to that, the Mitch McConnell dude, when it was with Obama's term, he was like, yeah, okay, it might get to me, but I'm going to block it. And he said it with confidence, and they was laughing and and everybody thought just because he was talking about black people that she was cool. So now, boom, you get the stimulus check. It's not just for black people, it's for everybody. And the same bozo did the same bozo shit. But his house get vandalized after the fact. Like, I'm like, I'm like, so man, just I'm happy to make it to the new year though. I'm glad you guys joined me. I'm glad we got to chop it up. The agenda, for 2025, yes, it's the agenda is there for 2020. The agenda is there for 2021, 2022, 2023, 2025, 2035, 2040, 2050, so the agenda is a trillion agendas, meaning they're not going to let up. You understand what I'm saying? Like, meaning like, I can just, things go back to normal. I can go back to sleep and watch my game. Niggas ain't letting up on you. Like, they want that fucking chip. You know what I'm saying? And the children, they want to vaccinate. Like, if you watch, like, most guys, I'm just say me. But most guys watch sci-fi stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I watch the all the crazy sci-fi and all the hypothetical futuristic type of movies, right? Whereas the girls was going to the love movies and the Cinderella joints like that and all the romance shit and all that stuff. Great and all that good stuff, right? But all that sci-fi shit is the shit that we live in. So a lot of the women are catching, just still trying to catch up. Like some of them are still just watching the Matrix. Like maybe it's the Matrix. Or, a lot of women are still getting up to speed. Look at some of these movies, Equilibrium, fucking Total Recall. You watch Total Recall, like there's jewels in every little joint that they was putting. So that's why you did have brothers breaking down movies and you did have things like that happening. But it's like, now's not like, now that you know all of this stuff, now you don't gotta watch all this stuff because basically your spirit is telling you the answer anyway. Like now, like anybody jumping out with a prediction today, like my prediction is, nigga, it's common, not it's like it's obvious. Like when I did it, 2012, 2015, 1992, 2006, and all this other shit, and year after year after, when I did it, it wasn't popular. Like I remember going into the I was in Warner Brothers. I'm in a record label. I got my 20, the shirt. I got the 20 on the shirt and all that. The shit fly, freshed up and all that. I'm chilling. We all chilling. And some group was coming in, maybe they had a meeting, but I'm just chilling. I'm, behind the scenes, just chilling. Dude, these guys come in, it's a group of them, and they look like they got their shit together, trying to get their thing, and they got the confidence. And I'm just like, yeah, good luck. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. And the dude said, he looks at my shirt and says, it's a conspiracy, huh? And I was like, this is a black guy. I was like, I'm looking at him like, the fuck is the matter with you, you dummy? Fuck your deal now. No, but that's what I had to deal with from the hip hop community and all these guys that's fake cool guys. Like, I'm going to be cooler than you or more money than you. And, egos through the roof. And I'm used to dealing with like, that's why I don't like industry dudes, like all my fellow peers or whatever. Like, we cool, but I don't trust nothing. It's like, I don't trust, like, that's why I don't fall for none of these guys promoting the vaccine and telling you wear a mask and all of this stupid stuff. Like, I'm not in that wave. Like, I'm not like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Them niggas is out of touch and compromised. You know what I'm saying? So for multiple reasons. So I don't even like, I can do business with anybody, whether it's Trump or fucking Mark Pitts. You know what I'm saying? Like, or Sony Records, or it doesn't matter. A deal is a deal is a deal is a deal. So my thing is do you have integrity? Like when you do the deal to have integrity when you get in front of these people. So when they look at you and they say, no, we're not going to get you over child support. And I was like, I am going to get over child support. It's like, I'm going to win my case. Like I got friends when I put up the child support information, niggas are going to comments. Friends are going to comments. Just pay your child support, my nigga. What the fuck is the matter with these people? I'm like, nigga, listen to the thing. He said I won. The man is telling you I won, and you're telling me in the comments, just pay my child support. I'm like, oh my God, these are my friends. So, I mean, I'm trying to readjust my karma. Maybe I'll attract some new friends. Maybe whatever the case is, but not that I'm trying to get rid of my old friends, because I still love, so it's just be slight misunderstandings. Like, just understand, like, you don't gotta be a doormat. You know what I'm saying? Like, have some integrity, get a fucking spine. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing with the community. Like, it's a lot of spineless shit moving around, a lot of jellyfish guys that stand in front of these things and they say the fly shit and this and that, but they be fucking cowards. They sell out their children, they sell out their family, they sell out their mother, and they sell anybody. If they sell their mother out and their children out, nigga, they'll sell you out. You know what I'm saying? So for all the mothers that sell out their children to the pills and the this and the that, like, you gotta be, I'm telling you, lock in, chill, do the woo size or whatever you gotta do. 2021 is not the year to try to outdo the stupid shit of last year. Like, if you didn't believe, be a mother, pretend you a fucking believer. I don't think it's a conspiracy, and then maybe Biden will. Well, the fucking dummy, no, he's not going to help you. He's not that guy. So the thing is to be organized enough. When he says, maybe I'll get to Black Lives Matter in a little bit. All those Black Lives Matter people that really thought that, like, now you already know that group is, that's a Soros thing or whatever. But here I am, like, talking y'all into a tizzy, and it's like a bunch of time that went by or whatever. Yeah, it's so obvious nowadays that what's to come. That when I hear these people with and the money's going to be digital, duh. it's like it's not rocket science now. Like, nigga, they said we got a stimulus check. It's going to be there tomorrow. They ain't sending you a yellow envelope. That shit is just numbers in a computer. That's why the money's there. The Fed already admitted it. Like, we can give you whatever you want. So for him to deny $2,000, nigga, let me just tell you something. Let me just add this in there. I may be able to use it later. But when 9/11 happened, again, which is the 20-year anniversary, when 9/11 happened, they stole $3 trillion, right? $3 trillion magically disappeared, right? But and the conversation was in the news was that $3 trillion, that was 8,000. That could have been $8,000 for every American. That's what $3 trillion. Think about that. Listen to the math. For $3 trillion, that was enough to give every American $8,000. I was like, wow, right? So when I be in a community and I was talking all this reparation stuff, and I basically knew a lot of these guys are not math guys, and some people who be trying to debate about reparations, these niggas they don't know nothing about nothing, and they just be like, yeah, it's impossible, and they be like, shut the fuck up, like, you don't even know nothing about anything, you know what I'm saying? But they'll tell you what you can't get this, you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, yo, but anyway, I be trying to I be digressing too, man. I'm sorry, Lord, forgive me, but so the $3 trillion, you could have got $8,000. The top of the year, they stole 30 trillion. Okay, so they took the 11, then it was 3, another 3 trillion. And then the next one, it was another 2 point something trillion. Then they was like, we got to give something to the people. Give them $1,200. $9 trillion. Not including the 11 trillion that was stolen. $9 trillion. They gave the people $1,200. The lady in in 2001, the lady in 2001 said, it was a reporter in 2001 that did the math, because when it comes to black people, again, they couldn't do the math. They, who do you give it to? How do you do it? We can't. How much does it come to? Nigga, for 9/11, the math was already done. That's why I was always waiting for a real debate. Like back then, like nowadays, nigga, don't debate me about no reparations. I'm gonna eat your food. Like I'm just gonna, I will do my best to embarrass anybody that counters my reparation conversation. I will embarrass you. I don't care if you old, young, my age. I don't care. I will embarrass you on purpose if it was a stage like that. But I don't want to do that. I don't, because that's my battle isn't against you. So calm down and don't even just get it out your mind. Erase it out your mind. But that conversation was ready for F, whether it was any one of those guys. Umar's or this guy, did that go to either? Like I was ready to like, let's have the conversation. I just wanted to have the conversation and lay it out so they can see it more, like so you can see it, hear it, and do the math in real time, because a lot of times that's what it be. A lot of people be in their own head and nah, we ain't ready for conflict. And it's like nobody's ready for like you could have 1 trillion guns. Like nigga, you don't got a satellite. You could have like nigga Amos Wilson. Dr. Amos Wilson. He said it. He got some of the most amazing speeches. He was like, yo, man, if we had a fucking Air Force, but then niggas is flying drones. So they like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's always like it's trillions and trillions of dollars that get dumped into the US military. So no matter how many guns or, little airplanes you got and this and that, like shit is real. Like shit is like, it's another space, and what they're doing right now is with those, robots and all of that other shit. Like that shit ain't to be dancing around and look, this happy dancer. That shit is not to play with you. Like you can never be ready. So, like, if you know the story about Portugal and Africa, like when the Portuguese, like the Portuguese African thing was like the beginning of today. You know what I'm saying? So what wound up happening was, they the Portuguese, there was like one of the islands that's right off of the mainland, right? They go there and they get to the land, and the guys, the black people, we hey, how you doing, brother? And you enter, hey, how you doing? They just slaughtered them. Try to take over the land or whatever, right? So that was one time, right? They fought them off and got them out of there a little bit, right? So they come back maybe a couple of years later. They came back. Same outcome. Slaughtered them. Killed them, murdered, rape, all of that other stuff. Finally, black people try to push them out, and they get, and then then the Portuguese go away. And they say, this time we coming to get them. You know what I'm saying? So what happened the third time? When they came back the third time, the black people wasn't as friendly. It wasn't no welcoming party. They tricked them the first time, they tricked them a second time. But the third time, and the fourth time, and the fifth time, niggas got fucked up. Like shit was not like the same as the first 2 visits, right? So Portuguese was like, okay, let's leave that part alone until we figure something else out. So, but they didn't stop their attacks until they fought back. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the story of history over and over and over. Like, okay, they neutralized that rebellion, they neutralized that rebellion, and they neutralized that, and they neutralized that. But there was a lot that they didn't neutralize that they don't talk about. And I won't even go into, the one that, got the treaty written that made slavery illegal, because the guys who, some of the guys who watch my conversation, they flip it, turn it, twist it. Then all of a sudden it's their conversation. And that's not the problem. That's not the problem. But they lead you in a place that it's neither here nor there. So I'm just saying that to say, like, this whole conversation of vaccinations and reparations, like, I'm siding with reparations. If you bitch niggas go on that side with the fucking vaccinations, thinking shit is sweet, and they go from the vaccinations to the chip and to this and to that, like, okay, maybe you don't know where that shit is leading to, but I would rather go that way. Like, nigga, let's go on this side. Like, I'd rather be on this side. Like, I don't trust they shit. I don't trust where it's going. I ain't with none of that shit. And not saying I want anybody to get hurt or injured. And that's all I'm saying. Like, I would rather be on the side of like, nigga, no. Like, if you're going out for something, like around that time when I was pushing forward or whatever, I was like, nigga, at least went out for something good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, niggas be dying over the stupidest shit. Like, where I come from, niggas died over sneakers, jeans, jackets, chains, stupid shit. Like, when I'm in a community, yo, what you doing here? Nigga, get the fuck out of my face. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm not here to fucking fight you guys. Like, what are you doing? Like that's why I was like, nigga, I would rather get out the community. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't fucking attack me, nigga. Like, the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? So any of that shit, like, I'm just more like, yo, for something that's fucking reality. Like, do something, like stand up for something, stand up for your fucking community, for your people, for the greater cause. Like, not no petty, stupid shit. Like, gotta stop that shit. That's the only reason I'm like, nigga, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, nigga, if you can squash all of this shit, I'm squashing it. Like, it's squashed to me. Like, to me, it's just all squashed. But, nigga, we need to connect the dots. Like, I don't mind. I can talk to people who want to listen. I don't mind. I could do that. I'm cool with that, because if nobody cares and nobody cares, and fuck it and fuck it. And I'm not going to say fuck it. And for my personal ones, you know what I'm saying? Like, my sons is already on their own space, and, I don't got to, want to do the opposite of, whatever Pop say, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But for the ones that's listening, my nieces and nephews and the other ones that's growing up, and even with my sons, like, okay, I'm riding for y'all, man. I'm riding for me. I'm riding for the ones who rock with me and know better. Like, I ain't, like, I'm not like, well, maybe if they gave me $1 trillion and told me to co-sign the vaccine, I might say, I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's definitely controlled opposition. Definitely controlled, where they got control on both sides. At this point, we know that we got to know better. We got to do better, not just know better. We got to do a lot better than we've done in the past. Again, that's why I say 2021. It won. Give it to it. Yep. Applaud 2020 for the victory. Okay, it did it. Right? Our generation, what we did was, look at your hand. You don't got a chip in it. You understand? That was the goal. Aaron Russo gave that up. He spilled the beans on that. Rockefeller and all the rest of those characters. And 2012 with the Rudy Giuliani situation, that biometrics and all of those things that I was drilling in those videos and countering the fact that they was trying to create this whole zombie apocalypse and blame black people and get people hyped that they're going to start shooting zombies and calling us zombies and all of those things that, that that people would like to trolling me about and talking all of that. So that's why by the time I get to the community, talk about reparations, I'm like, oh my God, this is nothing. Like, your attacks are nothing compared to, battling the fucking internet. The internet hasn't been defeated since I've been on the internet, because I fucked the internet up. Like, you go to my fucking pages, you go to this page and you go through it, like, I fucked the internet up multiple times. Like, the algorithm fucks with me now. Like, I say it's the Rawyal algorithm now. Like, the algorithm mimics my conversations now. Niggas is on my shit now. Like, I don't even got to do this shit no more. That's why I'm like, I got hats for sale, art and music or whatever. I could talk about other shit. Like, I'm just talking about it because it's a really important time. It's Happy New Year's. It's this and that. But I proved my point. Like, 2021 in the space of it proved this point. And I said 2020 was going to win a long time ago. I said, yo, this is where we going. It's in my music. It's in my art. It's in all my conversations. I have proof. A lot of people are like, I said the same thing. Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Like, we grew up with cameras, and we grew up with recorders, and we grew up with all type of things, the actual paper and document and all of that. Have your proof. Like, have your proof. All these guys like, that's how I was thinking. I'd be like, nigga, prove it. Like, I'm proving anything that I say. Like, I got my receipts for all of this shit that I do, all the shit that I say. All the other guys, see, that's what I be veering off. I be going into other shit. Like, But I love you guys. I appreciate you logging on. I appreciate, you know, the support. I appreciate taking time. And it's Saturday night, so you listen, it ain't like back in the days, just when I was able to go out and club and all this shit and, you know, get back to normal, but from, you know, from my injury and from my fucking court BS and all this other stuff, like then this happened. So I'm like, I got like 3 minutes to party with friends and all of that stuff and get back to whatever I called normal and shit. And then this shit happened. So it's like I got like a little break. But I appreciate it. But yeah, you see, this is what I do. This is what I do. That's what I do. All right. You know what's crazy? I said onions have the same taste as apples, but he said the smell is different, but the taste is the same. Something like that. But something like that. But that's me. That's my snack. That's what I snack on. Somebody asked me that before. Like, yo, what the hell you eat? Too much garbage, but I try to balance my garbage. Start the day with water, fruit, and then from the rest of the day, I'm trying to figure out where to get a coffee because I'm a coffee head and all that other stuff. But don't let nobody call you. And I'll, you know, things that we know as facts. That's pagan shit because there's a lot of, you know, bootleg conspiracy guys out that's into religion and this and that. I don't want to, you know, attack anybody for their belief system because to believe shit you can't prove is on you. But things that we know to be true, like Temple of Luxor, that has the breakdown of the human body already there. That's already provable. All those things is there. I appreciate you logging on. I appreciate you taking time to rock with me. Happy New Year's to Real King. What's up? Happy New Year's. Miss Wanda 72. Happy New Year's. Salute to you. Much love. Lovable Glow. Wadna. Happy. I hope I've been saying your name right. It's like, you know, the title that you got there. You saying it right. Who that? Ferdy the Great. Salute to you, King. The has to go. I hope I said that right. I appreciate you jumping in the chat and chopping it up. Happy New Year to you. And you already know, like, March is really the New Year, and this is a Gregorian, you know, and I understand that that it's like it's just really like the business cycle. This is the New Year. It went from Aries to Capricorn. Capricorn is their business cycle, and you know what they do with the goat and Pan, or like I know all that stuff. I'm just saying, like, happy business cycle to you too. You know what I'm saying? Like, Pull Counter TV, salute to you. Thanks for joining. You know the conversation. Jumi Zone, I hope I said that right. Junin Zone. Atune. Rala. I don't want to butcher people's names. People always be butchering my name, like, yo. but anyway, by Atune. Atune. I appreciate you logging on, Dominique Gonzalez. I'm probably ruining people's names and shit. But I appreciate you, Dominique, for hopping on. Hey to you too. And GL. Much love. So yep. That's about what we got today, and that's about what we got. So I was consistent. That's week number 3. I did 3 Saturdays in a row. And it was always meant to start at 7, but if we wind up 8, 9, I always say 7 or 9. 7 through 9 is when it's supposed to land, you know, when I start. But I appreciate we logged on. We did it 3 weeks in a row. If you miss the other 2, go back and check them out. The other 2 are fucking fire. Like, the other 2 are filled with real information that you need. This one as well, because you know, with the whole Portland and Philly conversation and the fact that, they softballing with these characters that's stealing ATMs and fucking up the town, like shooting them with pellets, and they shouldn't be doing this. Like, shit is all bullshit. Like, I don't any of that stuff. I'm like, fuck all of them. It's like, nigga, like if they're gonna do all that stupid shit and they're gonna try to redo what they did last year, when we already know 2020 whipped everybody's ass, like, fuck it, let's get to reparations then, because fuck all that vaccination shit, fuck all that. Like, let's do get the stimulus check and all that. Let's still get our shit, but yeah, this is what I'm doing this year. This is what I'm doing. At the same time, everything else. Yeah, this one is like my favorite one. It's personal favorite. Personal favorite. All of them. All of them. All of them. All of them. And you already know. It's for the ladies. For the ladies and the children's. For the ladies and the babies. And yeah. Happy New Year to you too. Thank you, sis. Yes. So yeah, we did it. We did it. We did another one. Hopefully I could do another Saturday. Like, hopefully I could do another Saturday, unless somebody says, nah, you know what, do this other day. Because I only took Saturday because I did ear hustle one of my friends' conversation, and he was like, man, I don't be doing nothing on Saturdays. I was like, oh, that's the day I should do. But there's other people that's like really that got their shit together and go live on Saturdays or other days, and they got them days like smashed. And I like when I'm on, I want you to be on when I'm on. Don't get me when I get to you when I get to you. I'm not a big fan of get to me when you get to me. Like when I'm on, rock with me so we can vibe out and really get this thing going. Like opposed to giving somebody who's your time that ain't dedicated like me for the past freaking decades. You know what I'm saying? So use StreamYard next time. Word. That's what I should do so I can have enough people jump on and all that. I made the account already, so maybe that's what I do. Like I just didn't want to stall out any more than what I was doing, because every time I said I was gonna go live, I would stall out and do early in the morning when I know nobody was like, I can do it now and whatever. So we'll see. We'll see. But if not, please don't beat me up because I ain't use a StreamYard and use this and that or whatever, or I don't have this and that or whatever. But I'll get to it because I'm like, I still got to like edit videos somehow magically, edit logos and design and finish this and finish that, and travel around and do this and that, and at the same time still promote, because it's still me. You know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate the support anytime any support is given, but it's still like, it's still like those other guys are really good, man. They got it figured out. I'm just still trying to figure it out. The Cash App is at the top. But I appreciate you for logging on. Peace, love. My diploma said good luck, so forgive me if I was a little off with some of the shit I was saying. The United States, America versus United States. On Instagram is the wave. Hip Hop in the Raw. Rawyal, Rawyal is the Instagram, the Twitter, the rest of that. Rock with me, follow me, I'll follow back. You like me, I'll like you back. You don't like my stuff, you will fucking disappear off my platform. But peace. I love you. Thank you. And till next time.